Hey everybody, guess what? We are back. This is African Frame Podcast. Not alone as usual. I'm with Rob Sibeko, a writer, a director, creative, and we're just gonna be dissecting movies. This time around, we're gonna be doing a movie that was released in the '90s called Ronin. Ronin stars Robert De Niro. I believe most of us are familiar with Robert De Niro. He's done a lot of films over the years. He's considered to be one of the best actors of our time. He's been in The Godfather Part 2, playing a young Vito Corleone, which was originally Vito Corleone was originally played by um,
Marlon
Marlon
Brando.
Brando in Francis Ford Coppola's Godfather. He's also been in Meet the Parents. He's been in I think there's a movie called Bad Grandpa with Zac Efron.
Yes.
He's done
Heat is probably a more
Thunderbolt.
famous example. Heat.
Heat, yes. Hey, Heat with Al Pacino,
Mhm.
which we'll cover one day. I think I just mentioned one now, The Untouchables. He's also
Yeah.
done A Bronx Tale. He's done Taxi Driver. He's done Casino. I mean, recently he's done this one with Leonardo
Irishman.
DiCaprio. Not the Irishman. Okay, yes, the
Oh,
Irishman. Killers of
what's
the
it called
Flower Moon,
again?
I believe.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. He's also been in the Joker as well. I think Hustle, Joy,
Mm-hmm.
um,
You don't have to name one of them.
Endless. No. I'm just trying to think of the ones that I can think quickly. But yeah, Endless with Bradley Cooper,
Mm.
and we also have Jean
Limitless.
Reno.
Yeah, Jean
Pardon?
Reno. Yes. No, nothing.
Yes. Who was in Leon the Professional?
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Luc Besson. Luc Besson also directed The Fifth Element. Great movie. One of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
movies of all time, actually. That's one of the movies that I would like us to touch on soon, very soon. He was also in The Pink
Absolutely.
Panther. I mean, and you have, I believe is it Stellar
Godzilla.
Skarsgård?
Okay.
Was
Yeah.
he in
Stellan
Godzilla?
Skarsgård.
Which,
Yeah, he was in Godzilla. He was
which
a cameraman slash French spy. In the movie Godzilla, the original Broderick one. The Zemeckis people, the people that made
wait, wasn't
2012
that
and
wasn't that
Independence Day.
wasn't that wasn't that the guy who voices more in The Simpsons? What's his name again?
Yes, he is in there, but remember that, yeah. But remember, he is the guy that is like that helps them drive, and then he's like all mysterious because it turns out he's like a French agent who was helping them out while trying to
Oh,
shut down the secrets of the Godzilla thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe my
Yes.
memory is a bit foggy on that one. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
but man, he's I don't know. I just wished he did a lot more American films.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, I believe he's probably a French superstar, you know.
Yes.
Like this guy is just lovable. I honestly don't know anyone who hates this guy.
Of
Like Jean
course.
Reno is just one of those guys, man. You like
Even when he
you
plays as
can
a tough cop in Da Vinci Code, as the cop that's
right.
chasing the main character, I still love him. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. He's just one of those guys.
100%.
And Stellan Skarsgård, I mean, we've mentioned him before when we did
Mm-hmm.
our Avengers episode.
Absolutely.
He's been like he always plays like a genius. Like I don't know if he's typecast as a genius, but he usually
Well, I
plays a
mean,
genius. He was in.
he can play a
Mhm.
bad guy very well as well. I mean, look at Girl in
Yes,
the Dragon Tattoo.
right.
Um,
The one by David
um,
Fincher. I still haven't watched that one. I need
yes.
to watch that one.
Uh-oh.
I
Okay.
need to watch it Let me just say I need to watch it properly. Yeah.
Absolutely, you do. Yes.
He is. I mean, he's also in Good Will Hunting, which is one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite movies of all time. He was in The Nymphomaniac. Both movies, he's still a genius.
Yeah.
He was in, Thor, the Dark World, Age of Ultron, Love and Thunder. So he's just that guy.
Yeah.
And he's the father of what's his name again? Is it Peter Sarsgaard, the one who did Tarzan?
It's possible. That one I'm not sure. I don't know about his son. Yeah.
Oh, Alexander. I think it's Alexander Skarsgård.
Okay.
Uh,
Keep it in the
apparently
family. Nice.
he has 8 kids, bro. 8 children.
Hey, man,
Um,
when you're a millionaire, that's when you're supposed to have kids, not when you're broke.
Is he a millionaire?
I assume so. I mean, how are you going to be that big an actor and not have money? That would be
That's
shocking.
that is very true. And then you have Sean Bean. Sean Bean,
Mhm.
one of the, I mean, you
One
can
of the
say one
best
of the
dyers
most
in
popular.
film.
Pardon?
One of the best dyers in film. No one dies like Sean Bean.
He dies in almost every film. Like he's actually known
Yes.
for that. Funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
Lord of the
it's like
Rings.
bad
Mm-hmm.
guys for some reason. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he was in National Treasure. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Lord of the Rings, the first one, right? The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He's Ned Stark in Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
And yeah, his face is just a meme
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Either him in Lord of the Rings or in Game of Thrones, one of the two. He's just
Mm-hmm.
that guy.
Absolutely.
But he's a brilliant, brilliant actor. I love him.
Yeah.
And then you have Natasha Michael,
Macaron? I'm not sure.
McAlone or
I'm
something like that. Yeah, I'm
not
sorry
sure.
if I'm
But
butchering her
yeah, but
name.
she's one of
I'm
those.
not too
Mhm.
familiar with her work, but
But she's from the Truman Show.
yes,
And
yes.
she was in the new Halo TV series as the main character, actually one of the main actors in the Halo TV series, and in
Mm,
Californication. So
yes.
yeah.
She was also in Designated Survivor. She was in The
Mm,
Crown, and Solaris. So
mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
those ones I haven't seen, but the other ones I've seen. Yeah.
there's Jonathan Price.
Hmm.
Um, he was famously he was in Game of Thrones. He's the one that was doing that
Yes,
whole
Game of
shame,
Thrones.
shame, shame.
Yes, and the two
Uh,
popes. Yes.
the two popes. I still need to watch. I
Mm.
still need to watch that. It's a series, right? Or is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a short series basically, like one of those like limited series basically. It was like one season or two, I think. Then that's how it ends.
With what's this guy's name? Jude Law.
Yes, yes,
So he was one of the popes with Jude Law.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. He was in Tomorrow Never Dies,
Hmm.
The Wife, The New World, So yeah,
Yeah,
he's a veteran of
a film. Yes,
Age of Innocence and so on. So yeah, that's basically the ensemble cast of this movie. As I've
yep.
mentioned, that it was released in the 90s. It was actually released in
98.
1998 to be specific. Yes, it had a budget of 55 million and it made 70.7 million at the box office. So yeah. It was also it was directed by a man called John Frankenheimer.
Frankenheimer. Hmm.
Yeah, Frankenheimer.
Famous
Uh,
for these three movies. Yeah, the original Manchurian Candidate, Ronin,
yes,
and the disaster,
yes.
the famous disaster of the island of Dr. Moreau. That is a legendary piece of film right there. Where the movie was so bad, it like there were fights. You should look up a documentary on it. It's incredible how bad that movie turned out to be. But yeah,
What was wrong
that's he's
with it?
famous for. Actors were a problem. The set was a problem. Everything was. It was basically. Imagine like, what's it? Apocalypse Now. There's a
Mhm.
movie there's a documentary movie that's considered so interesting. It's almost as good as the movie itself. Where a
Right,
bunch of terrible things happened in that movie.
right.
Funny enough, I think Marlon Brando was in this one as well. But yeah, so many bad things happened that people loved the documentary as much as the movie itself. The only difference is all the bad things that happened in the documentary ended up in a good movie. All the bad things that happened in this one ended up in a terrible movie. So definitely watch. There are some cool videos describing the back behind the scenes about it. It had like it's the guy from The Saint again. The guy, what's his name again?
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. Yes.
Yeah.
Like yeah, people were fired halfway through the movie. Anyway, yeah, great stuff.
That's it's similar to. It's just that this one was released, but I do know
Mm.
there's a movie like that with Nicolas Cage. I think it's the Superman. It's the Superman film. Oh, there's another film that's also. Oh no, the Justice League film. There was a Justice League film that was supposed to be released a while back. But it was such a disaster because of production and scheduling and everything and all of those people, all those things that they want to release a documentary about that because it was supposed to be released, but it
Yeah.
was like things just didn't work out, you know. I don't know if it was either Justice League or it was the Superman, what's this, Nicolas
I
Cage's
doubt
Superman
the
one.
Nicolas Cage one, but I doubt that one. It sounds like more
Yeah.
like more logical. But I don't know. I have to research that myself. That sounds interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, no, I had no idea about that, but I think he did Reindeer Games after this.
Yes, reindeer games, yes.
Now
So,
you
but
really spiked my interest. You spiked my interest about that. But I guess that's the thing about directors. Sometimes look, sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's studio execs. I think
yeah.
when you look at people like Zack Snyder, for instance, sometimes it's actually the director just being too difficult.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just the script is just not that great. It's a lot of factors that could come to like sometimes it's the actors that are just becoming too dramatic, difficult to work with.
With the Zack Snyder, I kind of blame Hamada, the executive producer, executive
John
of
Hamada.
Brothers. Yes. I feel like because he came in while that was all happening. He came in like in the middle of all of that. And he had his own ideas.
Wait,
And I
sorry, I think it's Walter Hamada, no? Not John Hamada.
think Walter Hamada, possible, yes. I just know Hamada. I don't know the last name.
Yeah.
I think he came in, and I think a lot of things changed, and that really, because I think what happened was Zack Snyder's vision wasn't producing Avengers money. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It made like 800 million. Meanwhile, Avengers made like over one, and they were like, "That's not good enough." And I'm gonna say it. I'm a Snyder fan. I actually liked Superman of Steel. I agree there were problems with the other movies, absolutely, but I like the idea of they should have stuck with his vision until he finished Justice League, in my opinion.
I
And when you
honestly think, yeah, I
yeah,
honestly think that Man of Steel is, still consider that to be the strongest
mm,
film throughout the
yes,
DCEU, in my opinion. I think even when
absolutely,
you watch it now today, you still see the writing in that movie is really strong.
yes,
I don't think there's been any Superman live action movie that has
mm,
had strong writing like that movie. Sure, there are some things that just don't make sense, like Kevin Costner dying. It was dumb, but
in
for the
terms of a
most part,
message, it made sense, but in terms of how he actually died, it made no fucking sense. I
yeah,
agree.
the idea was a good idea,
Yes,
but I don't
the
think it
execution,
was strong enough.
yes.
Yeah, it
But
was not
just
strong.
as we blame Zack Snyder, remember this, we all blame Zack Snyder for the third act of Wonder Woman 1, right? We were like, because remember he had a writing credit, they were like, oh no, Catherine Bigelow probably had an idea of making a nice ending, and then Zack Snyder probably messed it up. That's what everyone was saying at that time
Right,
when the first
right,
Wonder Woman came out. Because everyone
right,
was like, the movie's excellent except for that last bit. But what I'm
right.
saying is then they got rid of Zack Snyder, they let Catherine Bigelow do her own thing, and we got Wonder Woman 1984, which was a disaster.
Wait, you
So
mean Patty Jenkins?
oh, sorry. I'm thinking of Hurt Locker. That's Catherine Bigelow. Patty Jenkins is this one. You're right. Sorry, my bad. Patty
No problem.
Jenkins. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, anyway, because we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But my point is, they should have let Zack Snyder finish the vision.
Right.
You know what I mean? He does the
Yeah.
Justice League movie. They do Flashpoint. His vision ends, and then you move on to the
Right.
next person. But
Yeah.
because they got scared, they changed Suicide Squad to a disaster. They
Right.
changed Justice League to a disaster. It was a clown show. I think you
Mm,
could from that.
And they're like, no, we're gonna get the guy who made Avengers work to come and do Justice League. Like you can tell that they were really trying to become the MCU, which is something you should not do, DC. You are not Marvel. And that's
Yes,
why we love you. We love you because you are not Marvel. You know what I
yes.
mean? And also they rushed Zack Snyder because if you
Mhm.
think about it, I think Avengers was like what, the fifth movie that came out? I don't know.
It was like 10 years in the making, and then you got Avengers. They said Zack Snyder, you've got 15 minutes. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
it's like the third movie that's coming out because it was like what, Man of Steel, that is Batman v Superman.
Exactly. How do you kill Superman in the second movie? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shows how rushed it was. How do you kill
Yeah.
him in the second movie? That's
Yeah.
evidence. Let him do his vision. Give him 10 years or how many amount of years your contract.
Yes.
And then when it ends, if
The
it's
time.
the thing is, yeah, it was profitable. Yes, it didn't make 202 billion. Yes, it
It
made
was not supposed to.
Yeah, it was not supposed to.
Mm.
In fact, funny enough, what I like now, ironically, is what they're doing now with the whole lack of a vision thing, where every director is making their own separate universe movie.
Yeah.
That could actually work for DC.
They should
Because
have done that from the beginning, in my opinion.
yes, yes. Because what happens now is what Batman, what Vengeance, what I made like 700 million, if I'm correct, right?
The Batman. I don't know. I don't know the figures. You could be
Yes.
right.
And Joker made over 1 billion right off the
Yes.
bat. It made more
Yes.
profit than Avengers 2. Endgame. It made more profit than think. That's crazy. So okay, that deserves a sequel. Batman deserves a sequel. Just keep it
Right.
small, and
Right.
then with all the stuff that man is it's getting its money back, then you make an Avengers movie.
Right. Okay. No. No. It didn't make it more than Endgame because Endgame made over 2 billion at the box
No,
office.
not make more money, make more raw profit. Because remember, it cost them like 200 million to make the movie, and then another 200 million to do marketing. So the actual remember, Joker was only 70, if I'm correct, 70 million budget,
Right.
between 50 and 70 million.
Right.
So 70 million to a billion. That margin is something that no one's ever seen before.
Right. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, no, no, I get you. Yeah, that means Todd Phillips really made the money. And you see, that's the thing, which is, look, we're gonna get to the movie, but we're still talking about this. There's just two
Yeah.
things that I want to mention. This is the same strategy that you could say Kathleen Kennedy is using for Star Wars, but it's not working, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because it's the same strategy.
Mhm.
But for some weird reason, with Warner Brothers, it seems to be working because, yes, you might say that the third act for Wonder Woman didn't work, but the first Wonder Woman was really good. Todd
Yes.
Phillips's Joker is really good.
Yes.
James Wan's Aquaman, I don't think it was that great, but it still made $1 billion at the box office. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And then you have talking about this one just now, before the Joker. Oh, the Batman with Matt Reeves also did great. And
Yeah.
we actually want the sequel from from that movie, right? And speaking of Patty Jenkins, you know that she was supposed to write Thor: The Dark World, right? She was supposed to be directing that movie, and Natalie Portman left. That's why she didn't. You don't see much of her in the second one. Actually, she left while they were still busy with it because the post-credit scene of Thor: The Dark World, she was replaced by Thor's wife to do the
Oh.
last part. And that's why you didn't see her until Love and Thunder with Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi had to convince her to come back.
Yeah, that's wild. I
Yeah,
did not.
because she didn't like what went down with Patty Jenkins leaving the project. And that's why I think Thor: The Dark World didn't work. It was a disaster. I don't remember who directed the movie, but yeah, there was a whole thing. So I think you and I should do like a special episode where we talk about behind the scenes
Yeah. It's
drama.
funny. Yeah, it's all about balance. If you let a director do his vision, sometimes you end up with a disaster. You end up with a problem, like with George Lucas and the prequels. You know what I mean? Where it wasn't as good as it should have been because no one was willing to say no to him. But because people were willing to say no to him in the first 3 movies, he ended up with a masterpiece.
Right.
So someone should have been there to say no. And I think there's this whole thing we need to talk about actually with Kevin Feige. And there's this guy that wrote a book basically. He's basically the executive of Marvel, and he was saying there used to be a committee of people that were designed to say no to Kevin. To say Kevin, I don't know if you heard about this. To say no to Kevin Feige, right? They'll call it the something committee, right? And Kevin Feige had to run all his ideas through them. You know what I mean? And like for example, they weren't too keen on Iron Man in the beginning, but then when Kevin Feige fought for it, they said yes.
Yes, you're right, because I remember initially they wanted to do. I remember when Jon Favreau came in, he initially wanted to do a Captain America comedy, right? But then he realized that okay, no, let me not do that. Let me rather do Iron Man, and yeah, it worked. It was a huge gamble, but it worked.
Yes, exactly. So now the idea is when Avengers made insane amounts of money, Kevin Feige managed to convince Disney to get rid of the committee, which is why all the following phases are not doing as well, because now Kevin Feige's got unlimited control. That is the theory that's going around right now. which is why the
Oh,
thing is doing so badly.
but there's a rumor that someone,
Hmm.
I don't think it was Bob Iger, I think it was Bob Chapek.
Oh, there's a drama
So
in itself. Yes.
yeah, so 'cause, okay, Bob Iger was CEO of Disney, is the one that
Mhm.
acquired Marvel, 20th Century Fox, a lot of things. Like he made Pixar,
Yes.
and then obviously he left because you couldn't be CEO forever. Then his
Yeah.
successor, Bob Chapek, came in. Then there was the pandemic. Then they made sure to run with Disney Plus, which
Hmm.
was an idea that I believe that I stand to be corrected, but it was an idea that Bob Iger had already put into motion. But because of the pandemic, obviously they had to push a lot of content on Disney Plus so that people can watch still, so that Disney can still be relevant, right?
Yes. It's
So
very
I
interesting.
think I
Yeah.
think someone meddled. There was someone else who was in Marvel. I think he had been part of the I guess he was part of the big guys in the MCU in Marvel's studios since its inception.
Hmm.
I think he had a squabble with Bob Chapek, and I think uh, Kevin Feige couldn't do much. Like some of his power was taken away from him or something like that. And then now that Bob Iger is back, he's trying to make sure that Kevin Feige now has his voice again and stuff like that. Something like that. I could be
That's an
mistaken.
interesting theory. I've heard the opposite actually. Because get
All
this,
right.
basically the idea is that it's a Game of Thrones situation where basically Bob Iger must remember he's been in power for a long time.
Well,
So
I mean, since Steve Jobs was alive.
yes, so remember
Right.
his board members are people that are get this. Most of the board members don't have a majority shareholder in the
Yes.
thing, so they're just there for
Disney.
they're just there for Bob Iger. They're just there for him, right? So then
Right.
when he left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chapek came in. Chapek
Mm-hmm.
didn't actually have that much power. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Because all the people that Iger hired are still there. Because think about it, what got canceled?
Mm.
Iger was working on nothing. Do you know what I mean? All
What,
his
sorry,
ideas.
what was that?
I said, what was canceled that Bob Iger was working on that Chapek came in? Nothing. Nothing was
Right.
canceled. All his ideas carried on as if he hadn't left. And then when all those
Right.
ideas started not working, guess who came back? And then now look, Bob Iger's back and he's making decisions that Chapek wasn't. He's making bigger moves than Chapek has made ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the
Right.
theory is that Chapek never had that much power in the first place.
Look, I think he came in at the wrong time because I
Mm.
think it was the Financial Mail, or was it the Financial? I forgot what it's called. It's the Financial something, Financial Times. They said that the biggest problem is that when Chapek came, the pandemic hit.
Well,
So it stopped him from making a lot of moves because what can you do? During the pandemic, Disneyland was not that operational because of the
yeah,
pandemic. A lot of people couldn't go out to watch the movies at the theaters. Like AMC, I'm sure didn't get a lot of foot traffic, so it was a nightmare. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. But I also think there was someone in. You're right. There was someone in the board, I think, who was trying to make a certain move to make sure that they get rid of JPEG, I think. I could be mistaken, but there was a thing there.
surprised. Yeah, because this man, you're right. He had a losing hand. I mean, he had Disney Plus, and people were watching Netflix and all these TV shows more than ever. But it still didn't make that much money. Look at Scarlett Johansson left unhappy, trying to sue the
Yeah,
company.
he
All
had
these
beef with Scarlett Johansson, by the way. JPEG.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, because of that
yeah,
whole thing of releasing Black Widow,
yeah.
uh,
But she
like
stands. But
like a few weeks after, like a few days or a few weeks after Black Widow was released in theaters, he wanted to put it in
Disney Plus,
um, Disney Plus. Yeah,
and he knew that he had a profit share deal
right.
with Scarlett. He knew it, and he did it anyway.
Anyway, yeah,
Johansson over. And then
right.
even like, oh, we'll compensate you with some of the Disney Plus money. Didn't get a penny of that. So
Mm.
that in of itself tells you a lot about. Well, first it tells you a lot about both of them. They're both messed up.
But then it makes me wonder if Scarlett Johansson will ever do anything with Disney ever again because
I
of
don't think
this.
so. I don't think so. She's got her money. she's got her fame. She can literally just do whatever she wants. Remember, she has her own
Yeah,
production.
She's actually the highest. She's actually the highest grossing film actor
Mhm.
at the moment. She's number one.
Yeah.
She beat Robert Downey Jr. She beat Samuel L. Jackson. She even beat Zoe Saldana, which I genuinely thought that Zoe Saldana would be like in the top three because she was in Avatar. That's the two Avatars. She's in Endgame and she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Plus, she was in. In my head, I'm thinking, why is Zoe Saldana not number three at least?
But they've choked down her character in Avatar too. Like she's not that big.
Is it?
All these movies, she's not that big anymore. I think Zoe Saldana probably has a terrible agent. I think that's what's happening right now. Either that or she has a terrible marketing team. Because I agree with you, she's everywhere. But what is she? How much money is she actually getting? Remember Keira Knightley? Remember Keira?
Yeah.
Remember
she was hot at a point with those Pirates of the Caribbean movies, with Love Actually, with Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. What else was she in? Bandit Like Beckham.
Yeah.
Like she was in a lot of stuff in the early 2000s.
Exactly. But do you know this? Jerry Bruckheimer, famous producer. When they
produced Bad Boys.
Yes. They gave Johnny Depp millions. They gave millions. Yes. And they gave her less than $1 million, right? For the first one. Like they gave her like 100,000, some small number like that.
All right.
But it's early career, okay, fine. But then by Pirates of the Caribbean 3, Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom are getting tens of millions. They're getting racks on racks on racks. Keira Knightley, like 5 million. Like that. It was a fraction of what everyone else is getting.
But why though? I mean, she was one of the three. She was like the Hermione of the trio.
The pirate queen.
Right.
I mean, she ends as a pirate queen. And they didn't even talk to her about 4 and 5. It made no sense that she wasn't in 4 and 5. Orlando, it makes sense that he's not there because he's David Jones. He's gone every 10 years. Sharp. Where's Keira Knightley in 4 and 5?
Wait, because of what?
Remember at the end of the movie, Orlando Bloom's character Will becomes the guardian of spirits.
Oh yeah. But
so also, he can only touch land every 10 years.
It's something that we still need to mention as well, guys. I know we are derailing, but it's something that we also need to talk about because initially, Will Turner is actually the main protagonist of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Jack Sparrow was just meant to be like the Watson.
Yeah.
Right. Of the story. Yeah. But because he became a breakout character, Disney saw that they could make more money with him than Orlando Bloom. Then all of a sudden, I think that's why Dead Man's Chest was a bit, in as much as it was entertaining, you could see the shift.
It drags in the middle because it becomes a shift of, because it becomes all about Jack. Yes,
all of a sudden it's about Jack, and you wonder why, because you knew that this story was about Will Turner,
Yeah. But anyway. You can just look at the fan base and you can see why it became about Jack. Yeah. Anyway. Yep.
Yeah, so basically what we're just talking about is the disasters that happen behind the scenes. Studio execs, CEOs, actresses and actors getting involved, scheduling conflicts, creative differences, payment cuts, the pandemic, stuff like that. So guys, if you're interested in that, and if you guys want Rob and I to continue to talk about stuff like that, please let us know, and we'll definitely make a special episode about that. Yeah,
absolutely. Cool. So let's talk about the actual movie itself. Which we have not even started.
It's like what, 30 minutes later?
Almost an hour. Yep. Okay, here we go. Okay. Officially started. Okay. The opening image is of a definition, a breakdown. A Ronin. In feudal Japan, the warrior class of samurai was sworn to protect their liege lords with their lives. Those samurai whose lieges are killed suffered great shame, and they were forced to wander the land, looking for work as hired swords or bandits. These masterless warriors were no longer referred to as samurai. They were known by another name, which such men were called, and it goes in blood red, Ronin, and that's the beginning of our movie.
Right.
Cool. The story kicks off in Paris at night. We start with a medium close of De Niro watching a woman, turns out to be Deirdre, enter a bar. Jean Reno playing Vincent enters. Everyone is eyeing each other. There's close-ups. People like, it's a very sus atmosphere. It's fascinating. Sam reveals a gun, adding to the tension as he goes behind the back. He's eyeing the joint before he goes in. He's like, it's very cool spy stuff. Despite no action, there's constant camera movement. Like it's never on a tripod. It's always moving.
Yes.
And cuts. People's eyes are giving a very Western Sergio Leone kind of vibe to it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a very pre-shootout feel. And this adds to a tension as it builds and it builds. And there's a slow throbbing music while it's happening. It's fantastic. By the way, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, there's been about 3 sentences spoken by Robert De Niro. That's about it. In the whole 5 minutes. We have no idea who these people are or what are they doing. Deirdre, our bartender, speaks to Sam. Just as Sam's talking about leaving. But she's Irish, and the words she uses raise the tension as Sam is still playing a confused Frenchman. The tension eases as the car hoots and they all head to the car.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there. Like, and this is not the first time I've watched that part. I remember watching it as a kid and I was so lost. Like, I was like, I have no idea what the hell is happening here. Because I think it's a very risky move to start a movie like that.
Yeah.
Where you have no idea what's happening. And even the dialogue itself becomes confusing because initially you think these people know each other. Then as you keep hearing them speak, you realize that they don't know each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. We enter a new location, a warehouse. We get a heist feeling. They are all pros of some level. We just don't know what. The heist intro is mocked lovingly or cynically by Rick and Morty, except in here, they're already in. You know the Rick and Morty scene. Damn it, I'm in. You know that one?
Oh, damn it, I'm in. Yeah. I think it's even a meme or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. This is a very unique heist trope intro. Think about Ocean's 11, Italian Job, Fast and the Furious 2, 5, 6, and 7. Baby Driver, Gone in 60 Seconds, Reservoir Dogs. Very few will ever start with so few words and the slow throbbing. It's unique, it's clever, and it's effective. In what way? Basically, in heist exposition, heist exposition starts backwards. Some heist exposition will start backwards, right? Such as Italian Job, Inception, Baby Driver, where like with horror movies, we get to see first, like in the same way horror movies, you get to see the first kill. This gives you a taste of what's actually happening in the storyline. Like
you're right. Yeah, because I think what you're saying is, for instance, with it depends on which Italian Job you're talking about, because I've only seen the remake. But in the remake, it starts with the mission.
Exactly.
With them actually,
So you know what it looks like. Inception starts with a dream break-in already happening. So you get an idea of what the things are. Exactly. Sets the tone. Then you get the more straightforward ones where you start with the crew, collection of the crew, the heist, think Reservoir Dogs, Mission Impossible, and the Ocean's movies. With this specific one, what we get is a kind of a mix of both. We get a taste of suspicion and a straightforward heist. So we get a straightforward heist, but the tension gives you a taste of what's coming in the future, basically. So it gives you a set of tone for you.
It's like foreshadowing, basically.
Exactly. It kind of gives you an idea that this is what you should be thinking about. Like, because there are some movies where if you think about the wrong thing, it's a bad movie. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like what's a good example?
But in other movies, it's actually not a bad thing. Like Basic is not a bad movie.
Yes.
But
if you come into the movie thinking of it as one kind of movie, you're gonna end up making a mistake. Like, for example, I almost want to say it's a popular movie that people always like, Fight Club, almost. Like, you think of it as a just an action movie, you've made a mistake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Cool. Also, while this is happening, we get an idea of who Sam is. He's an American. He speaks French. He's a constant pro. Everything he does is pro. And
Yeah,
he's
it's as if he's Daniel Ocean, but it's not really Daniel Ocean because he's not really the leader, but it seems like he's the more experienced one
absolutely.
out of the entire team. Yeah.
He takes everything seriously. It's a meetup, but there he is setting up a gun in the background. In fact, he used a line, doesn't he? He used a line that I would say, if you watch Heat,
Yeah.
yeah, then you know there's a famous thing where he's like, I don't go into a room where I can't see a way out of. He used the same line in this movie. And I was like, oh snap, which one came first? Which one came first?
I wonder. I think Heat came out first because I think Heat came out in the 80s because I remember Natalie Portman was still very young then.
I
Either
think
the 80s or the early 90s, but I think it came out before this one.
yeah,
It must have.
you're right. So yeah, I guess he's repeating that then. Cool. So 11 minutes in, we finally get our mission breakdown. And there's nice dialogue here. Everyone's like quick answers. They're interrupting each other, sharp, sharp. As Deirdre is deciding the mission, they're asking questions. They're trying to think. It feels professional. You know what I mean? Doesn't feel like a cool guy is going, "Yo, man." So except for Sean Bean.
Yes. Because Sean Bean for me is very sus. Like you're like, whoa, dude, what is your problem? Are you like gonna be the villain of this movie? What's your issue? Relax. You know?
Yeah, Sean Bean is the wild card. Most heists will have a wild card. Best example being Baby Driver, Jamie Foxx's character. Have you seen Baby Driver? Baby Driver.
Yep. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, Baby Driver. Right. Yes. Baby Driver. You can see Jamie Foxx is wild and there's tension always around him. Do you know what I mean? Sean Bean, though, in a different way. You can kind of tell this man is puffing up his chest a little bit. De Niro tests Stellan Skarsgård, aka Gregor, where he knocks over a cup and then he catches it like immediately, which I thought was a really cool scene.
Yeah, and he's like, what did you get to training or something? Or like, what were you doing before this? Were you like in the military or something? And I think Skarsgård says something like it's just reflexes or something like that.
Yes, it's a little test to see if this man knows what he's doing. Yeah, and it's turns out it comes into play later on. It's great.
True.
P.S. It's crazy how little time is spent on description, but rather spent on character. The director has faith the scenes will do the talking. Like when I say that, what I mean is like with the Rick and Morty where they're mocking it, they're like, this is so and so. His skills are X, Y, Z. They're like, he just corrects. This is so and so. His skills are A, B, C. None of that is happening right now.
It's like show don't tell. There will be exposition, but not like we're not going to explain it to you. You're going to see it yourself. You're going to figure it out eventually. We're not going to tell you anything.
Exactly. And you won't say that the story, the dialogue is floss. No, what it is it's telling you who every character is. It's telling you their personalities. Instead of it explaining what is happening, what it's doing is it's saying, okay, De Niro doesn't trust people easily. Jean Reno is a kind, helpful guy. What's his face? Skarsgård is closed off. Larry is very focused on his thing. It's very cool. I love it so much. And very little is explained. Obviously, Sean Bean explains who he is because that's who he is. He's just like, I'm the weapons guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then Skip Sudar's Larry is the car guy. That's the only thing you really hear. Him asking for car parts, and then that's kind of set up. That's his whole setup there. Cool. Cool. So anyway, we open with the crew of Sam. Anyway, that happens, and then they finally get their first mission. They're here to get the pieces they need to continue the mission now. It's time to get going. You know what I mean? That's 17 minutes in. So we cut to a crew of Sam, Vincent, Larry, the driver, and Spence, played by Sean Bean. They're in the car waiting by the river with the Eiffel Tower perfectly in the background. It's a nice movie that really shows, okay, we're in France right now. I love that, by the way. We can tell that in the car, there's a sense of frustration as we the audience don't know the details of the job, and the people don't know the details of the job. It's nice. Everyone feels behind the ball. As per usual, Spence is the most out of it of all people. But yeah, A car approaches and the meetup begins. Spence takes the list and the money and takes the lead in the deal. He's just decided, I'm in charge, all sweaty, going in. And you can just see De Niro is just like, he's like, doesn't trust this guy.
Right.
He's watching him, which I love. Eyes are on everyone. They're all staring at each other. Still this whole tense situation where no one trusts anyone. They're all doubting each other. Everything is moving until Spence looks at the goods in the bags and realizes there's stuff missing. Tense music reaches its heights right now. By the way, that throbbing, tense music has been happening all the time. The situation takes a turn as the dealers only have half of the acquired goods. They want to confirm the money before bringing the rest. Now a second car shows up further away, and the original guards, the guys they were dealing with, start directing them to the second car. It's like they're being led further and further away from the meeting point, which is insanely suspicious. Spence appears to have little doubt, but high stress as he demands the money so they can continue the deal. This gives some Baby Driver gun deal vibes. Remember that with the gun deal that goes wrong with Jamie Foxx? And it kind of gives that vibe to it. Of course, that one ended in chaos.
Because I think De Niro's Sam says something like there should be like a sniper somewhere.
And just be careful. Yes. Yes. Tells Vincent to be careful because if there's a sniper, then duck behind one of the bad guys because he'll be hesitate to shoot through the bad guy. Yes.
What did he say?
He says duck behind one of the bad guys because the sniper will hesitate to shoot one of the bad guys. Cool. Sam states the situation is dangerous. He kind of speaks for the audience right now. But Spence is doubling down. De Niro pulls out of the deal. Like he pulls out of the situation. He's like, nah, I'm going to stay behind. Yeah. And the music is so tense that someone in the music booth literally whips out a drum set. And now there's an action beat to the tension to show that it's really going to go down, which is kind of hilarious. Like someone whipped out drums and now it's just like as tense the action is now just it's going down. You know what I mean? The music crescendos and breaks upon the guy telling other guys to stop. He's like, stop. And the music stops as well, which is kind of crazy. And I think this is what made me think of a Baby Driver so much when I watched this beginning, is that the music is acting diegetically to what's happening around you. You know what I mean? Sometimes some movies just do general music, but this one is kind of stopping and starting as things are happening. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes a lot of action movies, it feels like they just press play. You know what I mean? They press play, they let the music do its own thing, and then everything else will happen. Nah, this is tied perfectly. And you'll see, it actually, this comes so nicely. This is all about the tension, and with a break that they used with the stop, we get a second rebuild, only for it to be broken by a boat's horn, where Sam sees a sniper and opens fire, and all hell breaks loose. The music was used against us by the sudden appearance of the sniper when the music was at a lower tension to break our expectations. Do you know what I mean? Yes. So nope, it's fake out, and then just before you think it's gonna rebuild, that's when the shit goes down. Messing with our heads, brilliant. Cool. 24 minutes in, we're in a car chase, and they avoid the police, and the hothead Spence has to throw up from the adrenaline rush. Now I feel like people could complain about what happened here because this is kind of a point I want to make about filmmaking. Bear with me. This mission is designed only to get the gear. So in terms of plot flow, one could argue that it's kind of slowing the plot down. You know what I mean? Because they could have just had the gear already. Why do we have to show the scene? You know what I mean?
I think personally, when I saw it, I think it's because, which is something that the lady mentions actually, that they're not ready. It's a new team. Nobody knows anybody.
Yes.
So they're not in sync yet. They don't know each other yet. They're still very skeptical of each other. They don't trust each other. I mean, there's moments where I think he speaks to Larry. I could be mistaken. He says, "Why don't you kill me?" or something like that. Why don't you take the money or something like that? And
that's to Vincent.
Yeah, I was talking to Vincent.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh no, I already have. So why would I need to kill you?"
Yeah. Why would I? There's no need to kill you. You know.
Exactly. And then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, but it's dangerous. Why you want to go? Look, I was paid to go. Yes, that was a good point. Yes, it's very good show and don't tell. It's such strong show don't tell that it's actually very impressive. But yes, that is a good point. Yes. But yeah. Anyway, to get the gear thing. Now, I would say the most famous example of this being done badly would be Fast and the Furious 7 with the ridiculous Dubai car jump scene. P.S. I don't like the Fast and the Furious movies, but there are things that do make me mad about them. For those not in the know, they are looking for a MacGuffin and to do the find the bad guy. And they're doing this to find the bad guy, who ironically is chasing them. So all they had to do was stand still, which is so dumb. For the guys who don't know, a MacGuffin is like a film object that everyone has to look for. So yeah, they're looking for a thing.
It was it God's eye in this one?
Yes, it was God's eye, yes. They're looking for a thing to chase Jason Statham, who is chasing them. And every single time they're somewhere. So if they just still, mission accomplished. But no, they've got to find the thing to find the guy that keeps finding them. But anyway, so we go through this whole thing to get the thing. In this movie, they also get the thing. Okay, yeah. But in Fast and Furious 7, yeah. You learn nothing, right? The only thing you learn is that Letty can fight toe-to-toe with Ronda Rousey. I don't know about that. But
you don't have to convince us. We already know that Letty is a badass. For me, whenever I see any action sequences in any Fast and Furious film after the first one, I feel like, why do you have to show us this? Because we already know that Letty is a badass. You don't have to show it to us. We already know it.
Yeah, it's Michelle Rodriguez. You're fine. But anyway.
Yeah, but I think it's because I think I could be wrong, but that's how I see it, and that's how I've been seeing it. She was slowly replacing Paul Walker's character as the second main character of the franchise.
Ooh, that's actually not
think about it. She has now become the female protagonist of the franchise, if you think about it.
I haven't watched the last one yet, but I feel like they still need to give her more. Like, in terms, if you're right, and they need because
she did want to quit. I think she did say that if they don't give her a bigger role or whatever, she's gonna quit. But yeah, if you see the last one, even before the last one, the one before this, where she's on a different mission with Mia, and then they find Han. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can start seeing that, okay, it seems like she's like the second main character now. Like, she's the second most important character.
It would make sense because Jason Statham is trying to steal the show. The Rock is out here trying to steal the show. They need to give her something to steal the show. Otherwise, it's just Dude McBro again. And she's supposed to be like one of the ultimate Dude McBros. So I think more. Yeah. But yeah, carrying on. Yeah. Anyway, the point is that you learn that fight thing. Because you don't get a connection with the characters because you already know that they all have the same connection within. But with Ronin, you get a connection. Like you were saying before, they're not ready. This bonds them. It bonds them. The characters you need, even in Baby Driver, you get a clear indication that despite all of them working together, there's a good chance that Jamie Foxx's character will kill Baby Driver at the end of the heist. He's too much of a wild card. That's what the gun mission going wrong kind of lets you know. In terms of character, Ronin does this better. In terms of the three movies, Ronin does it better. I would say in terms of plot, Baby Driver wins, but Fast and Furious doesn't win anything. So, but yeah, you get all this wonderful character moments. So 26 minutes in, we get Deirdre on her own mission. She's walking when she's spotted by Seamus O'Rourke, played by Price, which is a name so Irish that it's ridiculous. Anyway, played by Price, Jonathan Price from Game of Thrones and the Two Popes. With the tense music, you have no idea what this means until he starts talking. Okay, it's her handler. The deal is going down sooner than expected. They need to make a move. It's a short scene, but we need it. Definitely important.
It's definitely effective because Sean or as Sam was asking, who are you dealing with? Who's your person?
Yes.
Like, and we start seeing him, by the subway and starts explaining the next mission and all of that, or it's just giving them feedback on whatever's happening. That's when she's telling him that, look, they are not ready, and no, use them. Like, we have no choice. You need to use what you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Please continue. Just give me a second. I just want to fetch my charger.
It's a short scene that leads back to the gang, but now the mystery has been reduced, and after everything that went down, Sam has become the team leader.
De facto, you could say, I guess.
Yeah. And with us knowing that time is not on their side, we see Deirdre is on the back foot as Sam starts making demands to either know more or get a pay increase because he's too much of a pro to be playing around with all these unknowns.
Yeah. Yeah. And funny enough, everybody's silent. Nobody's questioning him. Nobody is
Absolutely.
second guessing him. Nobody's challenging him. They just keep quiet. She doesn't even challenge him. She's like, okay, if that's what you want, then that's what you'll get.
Yeah, because she's noticed the air has changed. Yeah, this is fantastic because the whole time Sam has been a pro asking logical questions that she can't answer, sitting up and reinforcing his character without him making him smart, without making everyone else look stupid, which is a risk that's taken writing smart characters. Off my head goes to Ahsoka and how Ahsoka's wins required Thrawn being an idiot. Caught on the back foot, Deirdre makes a phone call where Spence, trying to regain some street cred, tries to go over the mission while they wait. Sam calls him out immediately, setting a crazy trap and challenging his history. Completely crushed, Spence is kicked out of the mission as a fake, proving that empty vessels do make the most noise.
Because I mean, he was like, what is the color of the boat at the what? It's like, what? I said, what is the color of the boat at the what? If you're saying you're from wherever you're saying you're from, it's like, dude, I don't like your tone, you know? Then the coffee thing happens, which is something I'm sure you wanted to mention. The coffee spills.
Yep.
Unlike Skarsgård, who is the least physically, intimidating person in the room, caught the coffee, right? Sean Bean, who is probably the most intimidating person in the room, spills the coffee.
Yeah, cries out and then gets completely ambushed. And De Niro says, I ambushed you with a coffee cup. What do you know about ambushes? Which is such a killer line.
But my thing is, how did they even hire him to begin with?
Dog, apparently just through this guy's connections. But they explain that later on, but it's like, yeah, you're right. How are these people showing up? And she complains about that. You know, she keeps saying the guy in the wheelchair, which is fast.
Who's the guy in the wheelchair? Because I didn't see any guy in the wheelchair.
We never meet this guy. We never meet him.
Because that's one of the first conversations between Sam and her. Like, the guy in the wheelchair said, you must be here. Which guy? Yes. The guy in the wheelchair. Which guy?
It's so funny, dude. It's
like, I don't know if it was like a Professor X joke or what. I have no idea.
I doubt it. I think it's just a setup to be like, hey, none of us know who brought us here. And that'll play a part later on when you find out who Robert De Niro is and who the other people are. I think that's it. Anyway, 31 minutes in, they finally start the mission and our characters are set up. They scope out the joint. Sam has completely taken over and everyone is following his lead. They see cars, they see the case and those holding it. This is a fun and games moment as Sam shows off. And the tension between Deirdre, who is in charge but is losing control, and Sam, is there, by the way. That's building slightly. And she's like, hey man, I'm trying to maintain things here. We also try to break the tension between her and Sam, and it kind of ends with them kind of bonding in the car.
Right.
Well, bonding in more ways than one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is the moment where I think what's this word?
The fake couple.
Yeah, was it like a stakeout of sorts where they're trying to?
Yes.
And then the cops come in, and then he's like, "Look, cops," and then they kiss, obviously, because they need to make it look believable that they would be out there at that time at that specific place making out.
Yes.
Then she likes that and wants more after the cops leave.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's because from your explanations, like everything that you've been saying, from your observation and mine, it seems like it's because he's the only one that's been challenging her leadership, her authority all along. So obviously now she feels like she's attracted to him.
Well, yes. I think it kind of brings us back to basic, right? Remember, when you're a team, If you have different goals, remember, it seems like they have different goals. So she becomes defensive. Remember, basic. She becomes defensive, and then
Right.
when they have a kind of a heart to heart, and it kind of becomes clear that they're on the same mission, and that John Travolta's character proves his competence. You know what I mean? And remember, this whole time he's been proving his competence to her. You know what I mean? And I think she finally relaxes. And when she relaxes, well, she relaxes in more ways than one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I think a bond kind of forms there. And that's kind of, so it's not even that, I would say, yes, she's like, yeah, he's so cool, but, oh, he is trustworthy. He can help me get this job done. And I think that makes her let go of the tension that she's been having. And now they're working together. Yeah.
Right. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the smartest person in this team? Is it Sam? Is it Skarsgård? Or is it this lady?
Skarsgård is Greg. And I think it's between Greg. No, I think it is Sam. It's straight up Sam. Because Skarsgård is wrong. I think it's Sam first, then it's Skarsgård, then it's Greg, then it's well, Vincent proves himself. I think the thing is, she is a pro, right? But I think she kind of gets put on the back burner on multiple occasions because I almost want to say she's more reactive than active, unfortunately. Because a lot of the decisions that are made are basically made around her.
Like also, it's like
Yeah.
the more you speak, the more I'm realizing like she would seem as one of the smartest ones because she already has the intel. They don't have the intel.
Exactly.
Right? And with Vincent, I would say Vincent, I genuinely think Vincent is the Watson in this story. And if you know Watson's character, Watson is a genius in his own right. I mean, the guy's a doctor.
Yeah,
right?
talented doctor and a military man, yes.
So yes, and a military man, yes. So Vincent for me is like he is smart. It's not like he's the dumbest one there. He is very smart, just not as smart as Sam, like Sherlock and Watson.
It's a different intelligence, yes. Like
Yes.
he literally knows everybody. You know what I mean? Like he's the guy that he's the Morgan Freeman, where he can get everything and he's everyone's friend. No one's mad at Morgan.
Linguist. He's he gets intel. He's yeah.
When I say that, when I say Morgan Freeman, I of course mean Shawshank Redemption Morgan Freeman. But yes, where like he's everyone in the prison's guy. And and then it turns out he actually knows way more. Like he deduces who Sam is. On, which is fantastic. And it's his connections.
I think he figured out Sam from the beginning. Like he could tell who Sam was from the jump. And I think that's why he's so friendly with him, offers him cigarettes and stuff. He already knew that this is the guy you should trust, I think.
Yeah, potentially.
Because he doesn't treat everybody else the same way he treats Sam. Maybe Larry, but
yes,
not Greco.
True. But there's a type of intelligence. You know what I mean? Like he's not out big
street smart type of.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. 41 minutes in, it's go time. For 40 minutes of character development, we get very little dialogue. I wish I could measure it, but because I would not be surprised if this was below average of most modern movies. Also, there are not that many cuts either. Our director is letting the actors act, which is my kind of directing. Also, a staple of older movies, mostly early 90s, 80s style. If this movie came out today, people will call it slow, I think.
I think so, because I really struggled, for the most part. I think it grabbed my attention from the first car scene, from the first main car scene. I was like, oh, okay, But I do get what you're saying. I agree with you there.
We can also get a lot of close mediums on the actors' faces. This is a cause of one or two things during the action. One, they can't afford to put actors in too many of the stunts, too dangerous. And number two, there's a strong focus on actor reaction. We need to see how everything is impacting them as it happens. Mostly at the first thing though, because because the flow is scene thing happens, cut the character's face so you don't think a stunt man is doing the thing. It's not great, but it is effective. 49 minutes in, the chase turns into a gunfight, which is something the actors can do. So the scenes, the visual reaction action scenes improve greatly. And then Greg gets the case, but stays behind. Sam leaves with the case, but when he notices silver paint, he realizes that the case is a trap. So he tosses it and the case blows up. And they have to run away, having been screwed over. It is mission failure.
Funny enough, I thought something that Sam mentioned earlier was going to happen, because he said, how heavy is the case? Because he was trying to get more information. How heavy is the case? Is there a bomb in it? Is the case attached to an arm? Do we have to chop it off? And some of these things happen. Like, there is a case that has a bomb in it.
Yes.
The main case was attached to someone else's arm.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
again, it's his competence. They're going for the competence angle. Like, it's so funny how in some movies everyone will be hyper competent. Do you know what I mean?
This is like Ocean's 11, for instance. Everybody knows exactly what they're doing.
Super genius. In this one could argue it's so subtle that you just think that this man is just good at his job. You know what I mean? It's so funny. I heard this new genre. I watched this YouTube video talking about a genre called competency porn. And I thought to myself, that is hilarious. But that is because those are some of the best movies out there. Competency porn, by the way, is basically movies where the main character is not necessarily a genius, so not Sherlock Holmes, but they're good at what they do. Like, for example, the new movie, David Fincher movie, The Killer or whatever. John Wick, for example, The Equalizer, where they're not superheroes. They're good at what they do to the point where another good example of a really competent.
Daniel Ocean.
Say it again.
Daniel Ocean.
That's not a bad example, yeah. But I was thinking more. Think of like, what's the movie we just did now with De Palma?
Blowout.
Yes, think about him. He's incredibly competent at what he does. He's a sound guy who's got a specific set of skills, and that's used in general, and that's used as a positive tool. Think that's competency porn. It's a
I get what you're saying, like Jason Bourne, for instance.
Yes, but again, not crossing over to the level of superhero, but at the same time crossing over to a higher level. Yes, but you get a perfect example. But yes, like stuff like that is fascinating. Also legal dramas as well, but where you try to see the methodology. There we go. A good example to think of is The Mandalorian. I love that kind of stuff. I remember, no, not The Mandalorian. Yes, Boba Fett. Have you seen Boba Fett? Remember
Not yet, no.
Oh snap. Okay, but there's
it's okay. You can talk about it. It's fine.
There's an episode in there, right, that just belongs to The Mandalorian. You just see him for the whole episode, and there's a thing where he's just fixing his ship, right? And it's like a 20-minute sequence. Now that is competency porn right there, where you just see someone doing a job well. That's what I'm talking about. And in a way, De Niro's character in this one is there without crossing over into Sherlock Holmes territory. So it's something that I think a lot of people are liking, especially in modern times. I think it's because nowadays AI and machines do everything for us. So when you see someone actually good at something without being a super duper genius, you relate to it. I think it's a popular style.
You're right. Like MacGyver. Like everybody's becoming MacGyver now, basically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Before I lost myself. Okay, there we go. Anyway, I was going to say, this should be the story's midpoint low, but it's a few minutes early. So I do think the pacing is a bit off in the storyline, but I'll get into that later. But the midpoint low where things are at their lowest. Anyway, we see Sam in the streets, walking to a hotel. Larry has been hurt. The heat is on. They're in hiding, having to run to a second location. Now they have to find Gregor. Gregor has the case and will likely sell it to the Russians himself. 55 minutes in, we move to Gregor at a meetup, and he nearly blasts a school kid just to prove a point. That was a while. As a kid, that
was hectic.
As a kid, that was insane. His meetup tries to backstab him, and that meetup gets his brain splattered. Remember the days of old school days where blood was bright red? Like, holy cow, that red paint. Yeah.
I was actually watching an interview with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez,
Yeah.
and Tarantino was explaining that he gave, like in that sequence in Kill Bill where the bride was killing all those assassins, like the members of the Crazy 88. He actually gave everybody a condom that was full of blood in their hand. So whenever Beatrix Kiddo would be slicing them, they would just release the condom and then it
Ah,
would blow up. Yeah, and apparently there was this lady who there's a shot where they show the lady from the back, and
mhm.
Beatrix is supposed to slice her neck, and the blood
Yes.
is supposed to spill
Yeah.
out like that, but the blood kept coming down instead of actually splitting up. I think he had to do 11 takes or something, and she had to like change her outfit like 3 times. There was a point where he actually felt
Wow.
like giving up. Yeah,
Hey, I get it though, to get the shots. Shame. Bitches are taking their
yeah,
food. Hey, damn.
dude.
Film. Gotta love film. Um, cool. We move on to Gregor at the meetup at the Backstabber gets his phone call from Gregor after the failed Backstabber, and now Gregor has to remake the deal with the money owed. This ironically buys Sam and the others time. I think that's why we see the scene, because now you think time is against them. So now there's a little more breathing room now for them to recover. Sam goes
You
to an
know,
old friend. Yeah.
sorry, I didn't see this coming at all. Like, I didn't think that Gregor would betray them. Like, I
Oh yeah.
had absolutely no idea. And I think, because if you think about it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sean Bean seemed like he was going to be this character.
Yes.
But then because they took him out early,
Hmm?
now your expectations are like, whoa, wait. If the guy that was Dodge is no longer here, then that means that there won't be any betrayal at all. And when it comes, you're like, this guy?
Yeah. And it's the quiet guy. Who's been the most quiet out of everyone?
Yes,
Cause
yes.
Greg. And it makes sense because they gave us a red herring. That's what red herrings are about. They distracted us with the jangling keys of Sean Bean. Meanwhile, you've been watching this man over here quietly sit and set things up for a big
The
bomb.
guy who actually, the guy who actually grabbed the cup
Mm-hmm.
and stopped it from falling, that's actually the guy
Yes,
that you had to worry about.
exactly. But we couldn't because Sean Bean was too busy yelling in our ears.
Yeah.
See, that's a good use of red herrings right there, guys. That's what red herrings are about. Sometimes I think we overuse them, but I feel like this was clever because it got us completely distracted. Yes, I love it, man. Cool. 1 hour in, Sam goes to an old friend to get help. By the way, it's a 2 hour movie, so now we're at the halfway point, which is why I feel like the pacing is off. Sam goes to an old friend, now we have an idea where Greg is. Greg is on his own mission and he's meeting two strange men, and likely for the new deal to be made. Things come together as the strange men are noticed by Vincent, adding to the equation. The handler, Seamus, appears next to Larry, adding a wild card. None of us know what this means. Is he on their side? Right? He has to be, right? They're all on the same mission. The meetup happens between the men and Greg, but it's crashed by Sam and the others. And just as everything is going well, the crowds of tourists get in the way, leading to a shootout and a chase that's surprisingly brutal, with a number of bystanders blasted away. This is not the first time. It kind of reminds you of movies like Replacement Killers, where you get to see the bullets, where you see where the bullets go when good guys and bad guys miss. It's very
Yeah.
uncommon in movies. Um,
There's also an animator, an animation director,
mhm,
anime director called Senichiro Watanabe, who did
mhm,
Cowboy Bebop, the movie. Something like that happens in a train
mm,
where the bullet that was supposed to kill the main character kills someone else.
mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that is pretty cool. And I just want to say that, I mean, this came out before Fast and Furious,
yeah.
but for some reason it looks better than Fast and Furious in terms
Dude,
of the car
I think
chases.
because it looks so real. Like it
Yeah.
looks like these cars could hit at any second. It
At any
feels
second, like these guys can make mistakes at any given point and die.
yes. And you
Yeah.
see them, dog, it's so tense. Because the way they take these turns and the car flips
Yes.
around and you're like,
Yeah.
There's no CGI. There's
No.
barely any cuts. If you
Dude.
think about it, like, dog, they sit and they let these cars do their thing for a while. Whereas in a modern movie, it'd be a cut every 2 seconds, like a music video. Cut, angle 5, angle 7. Nah, you get like 3 angles, and that's it. And it's,
I think I would say 3 movies that have actually given me the same feeling that I got when I was watching this,
Hmm.
including this, is okay, obviously, is this one. Then it's
Yeah.
Talk. You remember Talk with the bikes?
Yes, the motorbikes, yes.
And then it's what's the other one that I was thinking about just now? Mission Impossible, the one that came out before this one, with Henry Cavill.
Oh,
Fate.
yes, Rogue Nation. No, not Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation. There's
Oh, yeah.
there's a serious car chase scene where even he's Ethan Hunt is on a motorbike and whatever.
You're
Like,
right.
for me, those are 3 moments that capture velocity in a way that makes it feel so hyper realistic.
Yeah. And I think it's because in the action, right, in the movie, they've been doing a lot of closes, right? But they give us some Jackie Chan style wides. Now we get to take a step back and we get to see talented people do their thing.
Right.
And that's the power of the wide shot, is that it when you zoom in and do close up and do quick cuts, you can get away with a lot of stuff. When you take the camera and take a step back, now you have to be skillful. And that's kind of what this camera does in the chase scenes. Because when they look at the reaction of the faces, okay, it cuts in. But when you look at the cars, it cuts out. And I think that's what's kind of happening there, and it's beautiful. Cool. Anyway, the chase ends. Greg is captured. Larry is killed. The dealer, Vincent recognized is dead. Sam is shot. They believe Deirdre sold them out. Things are all over the place. Sam is getting stitched up. The fun and games period is long gone, but this is still a moment where he gets to show off some skill. This counts as a break in the tension, as this is not plot specific, but still gets its own energy. We watch Vincent struggle with the bullets, even dropping it at one point. 1 minute, 15 seconds, we're back in. Music is back to trumpets included, as Greg is dragged to the Irish hideout where he's immediately met with a beatdown. Now we get exposition on both sides. We get Samus exposition. We get exposition on Vincent too. As it turns out that Vincent already knows that Sam is CIA and has figured out that there's something wrong with his CIA status if he has to do his own surgeries. Vincent is likely French intelligence himself or something on that level, as he has the history.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I think he sniffed him from the jump, man.
Yeah.
And who was that guy? Who was that guy that he took him to?
He was legit intelligence agencies. I know that he said there was a retired one. He was a retired agent. So I think he's still 100%, still got his license and everything. And I think Vincent is more of a Ronin, whereas that guy is still like official. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's to reach the finish line, unlike the other agents who died. Yeah. For 1 hour and 23 minutes, we get a discussion of the themes, the lives of Ronin, masterless samurai. They are all former something or other, trying to do work. The story picks up again. 1 hour to, yeah. Sam and Vincent are taking a location out. It appears that they have been found. They have found them. We see all of them now. They are headed to the post office because Greg said he mailed the item to himself. Sam and Vincent make their move. Sam capturing Deirdre first and wants to know why she backstabbed them, presenting with a chance to end things. Sam hesitates and Deirdre takes the of the situation and takes off with Samus and Gregor, exposing a weakness in Sam. The weakness showing when Sam asks why. The man's been cold and straightforward this whole time, and now he's asking questions. Now he's curious about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but why? Is it because he was in love with her? Why was he hesitant?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there was a bond there. I think maybe he doesn't smash everyone. You know what I mean? I think he actually had a bond there. You know what I mean?
Because Vincent was like, why didn't you kill her? Like, I don't get it. Why didn't you kill her?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, what the hell? Because this man has been nothing but business this whole time. And now when it's time to wrap business up, he doesn't.
You don't want to kill it.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting because it's like, yeah, this is a very good show, don't tell. Like, you know what I mean? But like, yeah. We get a great chase like this one. Now, this is the best chase of the movie. This one where like the police come in and they wreck the police car. They cause a truck to flip over. Yeah,
Right.
this is fantastic. After everything in the start is done, by the way, there's been no music. That whole tense music thing is done. That whole beginning part where it was like a heist thing, done. Spy drama, done. Yeah, all that is done. Now we've got this action movie. There's no bad boys quipping. There's no go left, go right. There's no it's mobbing time.
There's no, from now on, this is how you drive. From now on, this is how you drive. No. It's just silence.
All you that's all you hear. It's fantastic. It's so unique. And then finally, when you can tell the chase is nearing its end, the music actually does start, and it starts hardcore. The chase comes to a crashing halt with Sam shooting the tires off, which flips the other car over a bridge into a construction site. Greg managed to get out while still holding the package. Everyone gets away, but now Greg's got the package again, which means Greg is in the wind again. He remembers the fake case, them trying to use that. They try to use that to figure out where he could have gone. They find out that the case is all about ice skates. So they figure out that the case must have come from the Russians. So they choose to chase the Russians. The mystery continues as they follow different leads, using the Russians when they see a poster of a Russian ice show. Now they know where to go, and we break the final act.
Because I think that's when they figured that the other case would have ice skating shoes in it or something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then they see a poster for the Russian ice skating, and they're like, Russian ice skating connection. We now need to go. And now, final act. It's going down. Cool. We break into the final. They enter the show, and we follow the Russians and Sam, not knowing where the other people are right now. We watch the show begin. We immediately cut to a sniper who is watching the ice skater. The Russian gets a note, and everyone moves. Sam meets with him. Greg meets with him. Meets with the Russian. Greg has it set up that the sniper will shoot if anything goes wrong with the deal. Turns out the Russian doesn't care, despite the fact that it's been set up that she cares a lot about this girl. Nope. And both Greg and the ice skater are shot. That one caught me by surprise. I even forgot that ended. The Russian leaves and everyone runs away, creating a panic, which the Russian try to use to escape. Stamos appears. Oh, it's a very nice scene. You see a kid crying. This is actually really clever. I thought this couldn't be surprised so well. But you see the kid crying when everyone's running away, like "Where's your mommy?" kind of thing. And kind of like it's in the background. You know what I mean? As you watch the Russians trying to figure a way out. And then next thing you know, there he is. Samus gets up, points a gun, blows the one guy away immediately, and then blows the Russian away. It was really clever. I know how you felt about it, but like, I don't know if it caught you by surprise. Like, I mean, you knew these guys were going to show up.
I don't even remember that moment. I guess maybe it's because I was still trying to wrap my head around the chaos that was ensued. But I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, because you don't. Yeah. Anyway, Sam appears. They run after the case, and Sam finds Deirdre in a car, and he begs her to leave.
That's the same thing. And you know, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know whether this came out before Heat or after, because if you remember with Heat, right? Same thing.
Yeah.
The difference is that in Heat he said he's coming back.
Yes.
But in this one is like, no, leave. And she's like, no, but okay, forget about the case, come with me. And he's like, no. I'm not. It's not about the case. It's never been about the case. You know, I'm here.
It turns out I'm still CIA. That's the twist. I'm still CIA, and I'm here for your boss, which is crazy. It's not a twist I saw coming. But unlike Heat, I would say that the decision is in her hands. It's the first real decision she makes in the whole movie, and she decides to leave. Whereas
Mm.
in Heat, he stayed, she left. So that was actually, in my opinion, that's the first proper, legitimate, her own decision that she made.
Right. Wait,
Anyway,
in Heat, what happened? She left. Oh yeah, she left. Yeah.
well, yeah, no. In Heat, remember, he says, "I'll be back," and then he dies because he could have
Yeah.
left. He could have just
Yeah.
left things as they are,
I
but he didn't.
decided to go. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, that's the kind of the whole thing. Powerful decision there that she makes. Seamus runs after shooting Vincent, and Sam chases and gets shot. Vincent manages to shoot him. Vincent appears out of nowhere, climbed a full floor while shot.
Well,
Anyway,
short. I still don't get how that happened.
I was
But
gonna,
I was assuming because even before Sam chased her boss,
yeah,
I just felt like maybe Vincent had a bulletproof vest on. I just
yes.
assumed.
That's what I assume as well, because how else? Because I mean, the fact that we see a bulletproof vest when in the surgery scene, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's always been the case.
It would have
Uh,
made sense if Larry was the one that got shot there. Like you didn't have to show Vincent. If Larry was still there and got shot, then it
yes.
would have been fine.
And then you show Vincent later.
Because the
Exactly.
last time I saw Larry, he was in the car and
Yeah.
the boss confronted him. And then what happened to that guy? Where is
Slit
he?
his, yeah, slit his throat and left him.
Oh, he slit his throat. Oh, okay.
Remember they what's her face? Deirdre runs back to the car and sees that Larry is dead. And it's like, and then there's Seamus in the back seat saying, get in the
Oh,
car.
right.
Yeah. So that could have not happened, and then we could have had Larry die later. But what can you do? You needed a low point, I guess. Um, cool. Time passes and Vincent recovers. Sam is still hurt, and they part ways. Sam is low key waiting at the restaurant where they first met, hoping to see Deirdre again, but she doesn't come back.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
Vincent is like, dude, she's not coming back. Like, there's no way she's gonna come back.
exactly, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's sad though. I mean, it's sad, but yeah, there wasn't enough reason for her to stay. Um, and that ends that. Turns out Seamus was a rogue agent and denounced by the IRA, who make a peace deal. This movie spins. Okay, yeah, and that's how it ends. Cool.
Yeah, she actually left. Like, we never saw her again. That's it. Like, she's gone.
Like maybe I thought maybe okay when she leaves maybe on John because remember it like ends with like him Vincent walking away slowly. You know what I mean? Okay, maybe she
Yes.
run down the stairs.
And then they show when the car is leaving, they
Mm.
show like a bird's eye view. So you're thinking that she's probably by the stairs, but
Yeah.
she's not there.
Nope. Nothing at all. She's just
Wow.
gone. It's sad, but it's bittersweet. But you know,
There's two alternative endings. I just didn't read I didn't have a chance to read it, but the director shot two scenes because you can tell that it seems like he was undecided about that last scene, whether he should show her or not. I don't know. I'll read about it though.
this might be the better ending. I think bittersweet may be the better way to end this because honestly, they'd only known each other
Yeah.
for not long. So I would say it's unearned. I think them being together would be unearned.
And also given the sort of like the misunderstanding they had at a point where, I mean, they had a car accident, she almost died. Do you think she was gonna just forgive him like that? You know, there was like a whole thing, you know.
Exactly. 100%.
And shout out to those construction workers, man. They saved lives that day.
The car is about to blow and they came in anyway. No, those Frenchmen are nice. I had to whip out my phone and went, this is terrible, guys. I'm so sad about the situation.
Yeah. No, those guys are heroes, for sure.
Definitely.
Wait, how did Skarsgård's character die again?
With the Russian, remember he was like, if I don't leave this room, I'm gonna shoot your ice skater. And he was like, I don't care, and shot him in the head.
Oh yes. Because I remember there was a part where he could have killed him, but then he's like, no, I'm not gonna kill him. Then he just beat him up.
Yes. Seamus did that. Yes, the Irishman.
Yeah,
That was handed the beats by Dre. Yes. Um, yeah, definitely. Anyway, that's the whole movie. This movie spins through different genres, mainly a spy thriller, a heist movie, and a crime drama. It does
Right.
each really well. Like, I can't describe how well it does it, but I can't help but feel about how the pieces come together, the actual glue of it. I remember loving this movie as a kid, and now that I've brought it back to life, I can't help but feel like it wasn't the masterpiece that it was in my mind. It was a
Right.
movie with perfect parts, but slightly lesser than the sum of its parts. Like, you ever heard that
Right.
expression? Where someone's like, it's better than the sum of its parts, where like bad pieces come together to make something great. To me, this was great pieces coming together to make something disjointed almost. Um,
I agree with you
it,
completely.
it is still an excellent movie with great plot beats, but it's hurt by its own sense of cohesion, most especially the second half. It's still better than a lot of movies coming out today.
Yes.
Definitely could not be made today. But if you add some of today's writing techniques to this movie, it would be a masterpiece.
It was.
That would
Yeah.
be defining. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
And you?
I'd give it a 6, not a 7.
Okay.
I'd give it a 6, but I do agree with you. I think, like for instance, the beginning, I
Yeah.
was extremely lost because I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And I was extremely lost. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" But then also your rationale about what you just said about being disjointed. There's moments where I felt like, "Okay, what is happening?" But I guess I'm telling you now, if I watch this movie again, I'll probably
Yeah.
give it a better rating.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first time I watched The Born Identity, it was a
Mm.
horrible movie. But there was a day where I saw the last part of The Born Identity with Wambose, where he
Mhm.
nearly killed Wambose but didn't, and then got shot, and then he lost his memory.
Yes.
But because I saw that moment, then I watched the movie with that knowledge, and I
Change the
watched it
context.
like
Yes.
they made the movie a 10 out of 10. So like now knowing who he is, what he came for,
Mm-hmm.
like he didn't come for the case, he just came
Yes.
for her boss. With that knowledge, if I watch it again, it's probably gonna be
Yes.
like a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm telling you.
No, I hear
Yeah.
what you're saying because this movie is better on the second watch through. I agree because there's almost too much show don't tell because
Mhm.
I don't
Yes.
want to say that per se, but at the same time, yes, because I think I understand what you're saying when you say like I don't know what's going on because obviously I'm watching it from the idea of watching it the second time. So when I see him casing out the joint, I understand that this is them describing the personality. But if
Right.
you're sitting there going who, what, when, why, then it does seem like a strange few minutes. So I get
Yeah.
what you're trying to say. That I get what you're just saying. No, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
maybe a second read through would improve it for you. I agree.
I think so. I think what I'll do is I'll probably try to watch it again before our next recording, and I'll give you my other rating after watching it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely bring it up again because I would love to know more. And but then again, we've got a lot of good movies coming up right now. In
When
fact, I want to do some more recent movies. I want to do some more bad movies. I want to do some mediocre movies. I want to do all kinds of movies. I'm excited,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, me too, man. Like sure I've made a list and I still have I think about a movie almost every day that we need to touch on. So there's still a lot that's gonna happen. Guys, I hope you are enjoying all this content that we guys are giving you. Do you agree with us? Do you guys have you guys watched this movie? What were your expectations when you watched it? I mean, Robert De Niro is an A-list actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's a crowd puller. When you watched it, what were your expectations? Were your expectations met? Do you love Sam? Do you like him? Do you wish there was a sequel? I don't want to lie to you. I wanted a sequel after I watched this movie. Like I
Mm.
wanted a Vincent and Sam sequel,
Oh,
a different mission or
yeah,
something. And the CIA guy was the poster, like, where's the post office guy? That guy. I wanted to see more of him. Um, yeah, I wish they done at least 2 or 3 more films from this franchise. I think if they had turned it into a franchise, it would
yes,
have been really, really good. Because the chemistry between John Reno and De Niro is impeccable.
fantastic. They are
Yes.
friends. Dude, they are so good for each other. It's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're so right.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yo, it's kind of like Sherlock and Watson type of thing, you know. Yeah, so guys, let us know your thoughts about this movie. We gave you our thoughts. My rating is pending, basically. I'm sure I'm gonna definitely give it a higher rating. I know it once I watch it again. But yeah, anything you wanna plug, Rob, before we shut
Yeah.
it down?
Just letting you guys know that my book is officially out. I'm assuming it's gonna be out by the time you see this video. It is called Jin's War. Can't see it because it's a bit dark there. But the physical book will only be coming out in Feb by the looks of it, because I'm still getting that printed. But the digital book, the ebook, $50 is the price. So it's the price of a nice coffee.
Yeah, that's very cheap.
Yeah, price of a Streetwise too, a Streetwise tea. So please consider getting it. It's an homage to anime, but it's a worldwide urban fantasy science fiction kind of thing going on. Basically, what happens is in the storyline, people kind of disappear for like a week and they don't know where they went. But then a month later, a guy that they thought was dead disappeared off for a month. He shows up again and he comes back, and it turns out he remembers everything. And things start to go down. As it turns out, there's deeper things happening in the world involving magic, in turn involving superpowers. Well, not superpowers, but heightened abilities, and yeah, let's just say a couple kaiju. So think Naruto meets Godzilla in some cases. It's action thriller, fast paced. I hope you guys really support me, because I would love for you guys to see all my books. I have to make this full time. Anyway, thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, well, guys, make sure to get a copy of Jin's War, and please hit Rob up, DM him on his TikTok, or wherever you might catch him. I will leave a link or links of his accounts in the description below. Do check out, I mean, support local content, guys. You never really know. You don't want to be watching Jin's War movie and you haven't read the books and you're like, and you hear other people saying the book is better or whatever. You know what I mean? So rather read the book first before this guy becomes the next J.K. Rowling or Sir Arthur Conan Doyle or Sir Ian Fleming. You know what I mean? So just, yeah, do that before he blows up. Please be like one of those guys who say, I knew this guy before he blew up, type of thing. But anyway, from myself, Miss Extraordin, and my co-host Rob Sibeko, thanks guys for checking us out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you can be notified of any of our videos that might pop up in the near future. What did you guys think of Police Story? Let us know. What did you think of The Dark Knight? Let us know. What did you think of Avengers? Let us know. What did you think of what else did we do? We did so many things, you know. Basic. Let us know of any other movies that we've done in the past. Let us know which one is your favorite episode. What's your favorite, by the way?
What, me?
Yeah.
All the movies. Oh gosh, I think the most fun I had was Basic. I feel like we had the most fun bouncing off each other in that one. I think that was the most exciting one.
That was like what, 2 hours and something minutes?
Yeah, was very long, and we went tangents for days. For days. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Also, the one with Ronin, fantastic as well. Having guests is honestly
Toy Story. Yeah.
Exactly. That was when we first got our flow going. That was also a key moment. We got the flow of like me breaking down the stuff and then us going over what we broke down. That is where things have really improved. Yeah. And so that's a keystone, and the Basic one. It's only going to get better, guys. It's only going to get better.
Yeah, no, definitely. And by the way, if you guys know people who are really good at speaking about movies and stuff like that, you really believe that they could benefit to this channel or any of our discussions, you really believe that they could, you know, add to what we're saying, please let us know so that they can be a guest, and then we can have them in some of the movies that we might talk about. Because I do know there are some people that really know a lot about movies just like us. So let us know, guys. That would be great to have some of your friends coming in on the show as well. But yeah, like I said, this is me, Miss Extraordinary, and this is Rob. We'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Peace.